God damn it. I don't want to film this video. So why are you making this video, Marina? Are you like obsessed with Lacey Green? No, I actually want to use this video to start a dialogue and hopefully not escalate the internet shitstorm that is Lacey Green taking the red pill. Cause it's a lot. The internet is a lot. I debated about making this response a lot, but in Lacey Green's red pill video, she encourages debate and discussion, so here's my 2 cents. If you go down this whole internet shithole, then I'm sure you can find countless videos and articles and tweets, both from feminists and anti-feminists, talking about this situation. Due to much of the subject matter in these conversations being about personal issues, I want to acknowledge that I know that these debates or disagreements have been very heated, so I want to refrain from contributing to that any more than I already have. Because I'm pretty sure that most feminists and anti-feminists and everyone in between in this conversation has gotten a little bit heated, myself included, not gonna lie. Y'all are absolutely entitled to your feelings, and I'm not criticizing that at all, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna try and keep it chill. In Lacey's recent videos and tweets, she talks about the issue of feminists silencing debate, and I want to address that. She argues that loaded terms like Nazi and white supremacist are words that are used to write off any disagreement. I personally don't use these terms to describe people, but I do see them used, and I can see how that might be perceived as being a little heavy-handed. But I do want to point out that in this current political climate, there are literal neo-Nazis. Just putting that out there. I think it's also difficult with the current state of politics to find accurate words to describe people when groups who in the past would have been referred to as white supremacists or neo-Nazis have rebranded themselves with other terms like the alt-right and nationalists. Saying blatantly racist things is something that is no longer generally socially acceptable, so groups that ideologically promote things like white supremacy have to change the words they use to identify themselves to avoid social shaming. Before Trump's presidency, I actually used to see the word Nazi thrown around quite a bit to silence discussion, but the context was completely flipped. Feminazi was and still is a super common buzzword used to dismiss any kind of like feminist critique. Fuck, I was literally called a feminazi earlier today on Twitter. However, unfortunately, Lacey often falls into the same trap that she describes of using language to dismiss disagreement. If you look at her tweets, her Ask FM, and even her most recent videos, she uses language like SJW, extremist, and crazy to brand feminists as being not worthy of discussion or any kind of conversation. Most notably, she referred to feminist vlogger Kat Black as a sociopath. As someone who respects Kat's work and has followed her for years, I think this is an incredibly unhelpful way to dismiss her arguments and her body of work. If Lacey believes in using arguments that don't rely on logical fallacies, then using mental illness to shut down debate is inconsistent with that belief. As someone who has struggled with mental illness, I find it disconcerting that we're using mental illness to brand people as not being worthy of listening to. Lacey has been super open about her struggles with mental illness in the past as well, and I find that super admirable. Fighting mental health stigma is something that I believe is necessary to helping people not be ashamed of their own mental health issues. I think it's absolutely essential when trying to break down barriers that prevent people from seeking out and receiving treatment. That's why I find Lacey Green's tactic of dismissing any feminist critique largely unhelpful and concerning, and I think it largely falls under the tactic that she aims to avoid and has criticized. On top of this, a lot of the folks that she has painted as mentally ill and crazy happen to be other women. I talked about this at length in my Women Are Crazy video, and I studied this pretty extensively when I was at university, but historically, framing women as mentally ill has been used to invalidate their thoughts and feelings. Female hysteria was considered an actual medical diagnosis, and I think remnants of that stigma still kind of exist today. On top of this, women of color, particularly Black women, are super likely to be branded as angry and ridiculous and over the top because of the angry Black woman stereotype. Am I saying that Lacey isn't allowed to disagree with other women? Absolutely not. No. Totally 100% no. What I am saying is that dismissing other feminists, many of whom are women, as crazy and hysterical shuts down conversation and stigmatizes mental illness. I know that Lacey and a lot of other feminists have played down the harm that language can cause, and while I understand that language might not be the most important issue, it still is an important issue. The way that we understand the world and communicate with others is entirely based on the language we use. Language can also be used as a rubric for how socially we understand and stereotype women and people of color and disabled people, etc., etc. And when we're having these conversations, which are entirely based on the language that we use to communicate with each other, choosing our words carefully is incredibly important. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this one. Also, this is completely voluntary, but if you would like to help support Feminist Fridays and this channel, then please consider donating to my Patreon page, which will be linked below.